A very good morning to everyone.
Good morning, ma'am.
Good morning, ma'am.
Good morning, ma'am.
So last class we have started with the new chapter, adaptation. And I think we have started with the introduction to this chapter, isn't it? We have discussed what is a habitat. The place where an organism lives is called its habitat, isn't it? So I have introduced the chapter, and we have also discussed that the habitat has mainly two components, the living components and the non-living components. All right. So what are the living components called? The living components are also called as biotic components, and the non-living components are called as physical or abiotic components. So we were discussing about these 2 points in the last period, and I have also told you about we have discussed that why organisms need a habitat. So we have discussed that the need of a habitat is to get all the things which are required for the survival. And what are the most important things required for survival? It is the food, air, water, mate, and shelter. And I have told you who is mate. Mate is the partner. All right. So, and also we have discussed to animals what is provided through habitat. To animals, it is providing, the habitat is providing a safe place to lay or keep eggs and the young ones in protected way. And I have also told you a story how the squirrel is keeping its children in that small AC outbox. Remember the story? And still they're there, they're growing in that outbox. So that means for them, that is a safe place. Okay, well, that is not a permanent habitat for the squirrel, but still it is acting as a habitat for them. Okay. Then we have discussed that a habitat is a place to hide from the predators, the enemies, the bigger animals. Okay, and the animals, they blend with the surrounding to escape from the enemies. All right, so we have discussed all these things in the previous session. Now today we are going to discuss in detail about the different types of habitat. Okay, so these were the few modules which you have seen. We eat, we drink, we sleep, and make our body healthy body. Why? So that we can survive in proper way. Okay, for a happy living, for a healthy living, there are few things that we need in our lives, and these things are the clean air, water, sunlight, and food. And this keeps everybody healthy in the habitat. For fishes, ducks, it's the aquatic habitat. For the wild animals and deers, it is the white forest. Forest is their habitat. For the sparrows, insects, crow, all these, they live. Their habitat is air, aerial habitat. The monkeys and the squirrels, their habitat is aerial. They are found mainly on the trees. Okay, so there are different types of habitats, and we say that the different organisms, they have different adaptations to stay in a habitat. All right, so broadly classifying, there are mainly three types of habitats. That means there are mainly three types of adaptations to be in different habitats. All right, the first one is aquatic habitat. Terrestrial habitat includes both the mountains and the deserts, as well as the forest. It covers the forest also. And the third type of habitat is aerial habitat. Okay, and this is only the kind for adaptation also. Okay, different organisms which live in different habitats, they have certain characteristics because of which they are present in that particular habitat. Okay, so today we'll be discussing about the various types of adaptations and their habitats, the organisms' habitats. Now, another important thing that you need to know is adaptation. About that also we have discussed in the previous session. What is adaptation? Certain plants, or you can say different organisms, they live in a particular habitat and they are able to live in that habitat just because they possess certain special characteristics. Okay, there is presence of features, or you can say certain habits, which help them or help the organism to live in a particular habitat. All right, and that is only called as adaptation. Different living organisms adapt to live in their surrounding in different ways. It's not that all the organisms which are living in a particular habitat, they behave the same. They have different ways of living. Okay, so what is adaptation? Adaptations involve a combination of features such as shape, size, color, and structure with the behavior. Okay, so living organisms adapt to their habitat by following changes. What are the changes which take place? How do living organisms adapt to their habitat? What are the changes seen in the organism so that it can adapt to their habitat? It can be in their habitat. All right. So the first thing is the changes in body. Many plants and animals, they develop special features, or you can say modifications. We have discussed about modifications in the very first chapter, where you have learned there are certain modifications seen in the leaves and the different plants. Why is that modification seen? So that they can fulfill their need. So obviously, the change in the body or any modification which is seen in any of the organism's body is to survive, to fulfill the need, the demand of its body and survive. All right. So many plants and animals, they develop special features. These special features are called modifications, and the modifications are seen to survive in their habitat. All right. Another important note is changes in the behavior. Many animals, they change their normal behavior so that it can survive in its habitat. For example, many animals hibernate during winter months. Hibernate means they go for long sleep. Throughout that winter time, they will not move out of their habitat because it's too cool. They cannot bear that low temperature. That's why what do? They hibernate. Hibernate means sleeping for longer duration. For many months, they do sleep. All right. So that is the change in the behavior that is seen in some of the animals. Other than that, there may be so many different changes, which there may be so many changes in the behavior of different plants and animals. All right. Then changes in location. Many animals like birds and fish, they move to different region in search of warmth and food. And this is called as migration. For some of the animals, it is very difficult for them to survive in a particular habitat, okay? Or maybe they're not able to adapt in the habitat where they are present. So what do? They move to a better place, more comfortable, more suitable place. All right. And this is what is called as migration. So the living organisms adapt to their habitat by changing their location also. Okay. So today, now in detail, we are going to discuss about adaptations in aquatic habitat. What we are going to discuss? We are going to discuss about adaptations in aquatic habitat. Aquatic habitats are the habitats which are seen in water, inside the water. These are mainly of two types. The two types are freshwater habitats, which is very commonly seen in ponds, lakes, and rivers. Whereas the second type of habitat is the saline water habitat. Such type of habitat is seen in seas and oceans. In the saline habitat, as the name indicates, as we have discussed in the previous class also, the habitats are the place where an organism lives. Okay, so various animals and plants are able to survive in a particular environment, in a particular place, just because of the needs or the requirement that is fulfilled by the habitat. All right, so there are two types of aquatic habitats, the freshwater habitat and the saline water habitat. And saline means the water is salty. Saline habitat, or we can say the saline water means salty water. That means in the water there is presence of a number of salts. It's not only the common salt which we use as the flavoring agent, but there are a number of salts. If you have ever visited any seaside, you might have observed, if you have ever tasted the water present over there, it is salty. And if not tasted, you have heard, maybe you have studied. Okay, so the water is salty. Why is it salty? And it's not slight salt present in it, it is very, very salty. All right, so this water contains salt, that is why it is salty. And we are going to discuss about the freshwater habitat and saline water habitat. Now let's see the plants which are found in the aquatic habitat. Okay, there are certain special characteristics which put these plants into this category, or these plants are able to survive in this situation just because of these special characteristics. Okay, so as you know, as these plants, they are found in the water, definitely their features which are present in these plants are very, very special. So let's discuss about these special characteristics. Water plants may be either completely, first of all, let me tell you that the water plants are not only one type of plants. There also we have different types of plants, aquatic plants. Okay, it can be completely submerged in water, it can be floating on the surface, or it may be emerging out of water. And for all these cases, we have different examples. You can just see over here. This plant is seen fully submerged. Submerged means totally under the water. Okay. So such type of plants are called as, such type of aquatic plants are called as submerged plants. Okay. Very common example is hydrilla. This is a hydrilla plant. Okay. Another example is floating plant. Okay. Another example is floating plant. Floating plant means those plants which float on the surface of water. Okay. The floating aquatic plants. The reason why they are floating is definitely they are light in weight. That is why they are able to float in water. Okay. And the third one is emerged plants. As you can see here, lotus. The flower, that stem is emerging out of water. All right. So this is the third type of aquatic plant. Okay. So we have to discuss about all these three types of aquatic plants. Which are the three types of aquatic plants? We have discussed. It is submerged aquatic plant. Submerged means which is totally underwater. Second one is floating plant, floating aquatic plant. That means which is on the surface of water. And the third one is immersed plant. That means which emerges out or which rises above water. Okay. So that is immersed aquatic plant. So let's discuss about the various special characteristics of these plants, which puts them into this category. Okay, so we will begin with the following adaptations that are noticed in the aquatic plants. The very first thing we have to discuss is about roots. Now here you can see the roots are very much reduced. It's not very big. Okay, and why is it the root is not very big? Why is it so much reduced? The reason is there is plenty of water present in the pond or lake. Okay, and the main function of the root is to hold the plant in a place. All right, so because it is in water, if the root is long and it's big, what will happen to the plant? It may sink. Okay, so the roots are reduced. The reason, because these roots have to hold the plant in a place and all around is water. Okay, then you can see the next special adaptation in these plants is the stems. The stems are long, as you can see here in the module. You can see these stems are long. Okay, the reason why is it long is so that they can bend along with the water movement. As you know, the water keeps moving. It will not never be stagnant. Ek jagah pe ruka hua nahi hoga. All right, so water will keep moving. So because of that reason, these plants, their stems are long so that it can bend along with the water movement, and they have air chambers that allow plants to float in water. Okay, there are presence of air chambers in these plants, and we can see over here the stem is also hollow. It's not filled, it's hollow, so that it is light in weight, and also it is allowing the plant to float in water. Another important adaptation is seen in the leaves of the aquatic plants. The leaves may be submerged, floating, and immersed. Okay, as I've already told you, on this basis only we call the plants also as submerged aquatic plant, floating aquatic plant, and immersed aquatic plants. So the first example you can see over here is submerged aquatic plant. In submerged aquatic plants like hydrilla, the leaves are very small. Can you see the leaves clearly? the leaves of these plants, the leaves of these plants is very, very small. It is narrow. Other than that, it is thin and somewhat it looks like a ribbon. Okay. Their roots are fixed to the soil, and this is the reason they are submerged in water. If the root is not fixed to the soil, what will happen to the plant? It will float. Okay, it will float. So this is another special adaptation for the submerged aquatic plants, that the roots of these plants are fixed to the soil underwater, and they can bend and move easily in the flowing water without being torn apart. Okay, the plant, it can move easily with the movement in the water, and it does not get torn. Torn means it does not get means it do not break, or it do not get detached from the main plant. All right, so these are few special adaptations of submerged aquatic plants. Which are the characteristics, which are the adaptation? The very first one is about the leaves. The leaves are narrow. Narrow means very small and thin, and they are also ribbon-like. And the roots of these plants are fixed to the soil. But we find movement in these plants as the water moves, and because of this movement, it's not that the plant gets torn away. Another type of aquatic plant is the floating aquatic plants. A very common example is water hyacinth. Okay, you can see here in the module. So these plants have large leaves, large and somewhat circular leaves. Okay, these leaves have a waxy coating present on the leaves. And why this waxy coating? The complete leaf is as if it is coated with wax. Why is it having a waxy coating? Because throughout lifetime it is in water. Okay, so this waxy coating prevents the leaf from getting decayed. Sadne se bachata hai. Okay, and the roots of these plants, they float freely below the surface of water. Okay, so the leaves are above water, that means it floats on the surface, and the roots, they are also in floating condition only. Okay, they are not fixed to the soil, and these plants are therefore called as floating aquatic plants. What are they called? They are called as floating aquatic plants. So what are the three special adaptations of these floating aquatic plants? The first one is the leaves are, you can see here clearly in this module, the leaves are large and somewhat circular. On the leaves, there is a waxy coating. You can just see droplets of water are visible on these leaves. Okay, so there is waxy coating seen on these leaves. Why is it waxy? Why the waxy coating is present on these leaves? So that it prevents the leaf, because the plant is throughout lifetime in water. So to prevent it from decaying, the waxy coating is the adaptation for these plants for their survival. Okay, and another important thing that you need to know is about the roots. You can see here the part of the leaf, it remains floating on the surface of water, and the roots, they are also, though they are underwater, they are not fixed at any point. They also float in water. Okay, they are below the surface of water, the roots are below the surface of water, and the leaves are on the surface of water. Okay, and this is the example of aquatic floating plant. Then the third one is immersed plants. Immersed means which is rising above water. Okay, so example, the best very common example is lotus. You can see here the leaves of these plants are broad. You can see, you can compare it with a plate. It is a plate like broad leaf which is floating on water. Okay, so this is one adaptation of these plants, that it has broad plate-like leaf. Okay, here in this module you can clearly see it seems to be like a plate. Okay, and the roots of these plants, you can just see here in this first part, you can see the root of this plant is fixed in soil and their stems are long. Okay, it is several inches to maybe feet. Why is it the stem is so long? The reason is so that the plant can emerge out of water. Otherwise, it will be in the category of submerged plant. Okay, so here you can see in the second part of the module, the root is fixed at the soil. Okay, it is underwater and the root is fixed in the soil. Okay, and the stem is several inches to several feet long so that it can emerge out of water. So this is another special feature or special adaptation in these plants so that they can survive in their habitat. Okay, so as you know, the adaptations or special features or modifications which a plant or animal possess is just to survive in their habitat. Okay, so we have discussed about 3 types of aquatic plants. The first one is submerged aquatic plants. Its root is fixed to the soil and the stem is long and it can easily bend with flowing water. Then the second one is floating plant, or you can say water hyacinth. Its botanical name is Eichhornia. Okay, you can see here it is written over in the first module on the top, it is written Eichhornia. Okay, this is the botanical name of this plant and this is called the floating plant. Why it is called as floating plant? Because the leaves float on the surface and the roots of these plants float underwater. Okay, that is why it is floating plant. And they also have special characteristics. What are the special characteristics? The leaves are large and somewhat circular. The leaves have a waxy coating which prevents the leaf from decaying. And the root, which is underwater, that is also floating freely. Okay, the third type we have discussed is emerged plants. Emerged plants like lotus have plate-like leaves which float on water. The roots of these plants are fixed in the soil and the stems of these plants are several inches to several feet so that they can easily emerge out of water. Okay, so these are the special adaptations in the aquatic plants. Okay, so that is all for today. Hope you have understood the adaptations in adaptations in aquatic habitat. Okay, those who have doubt can raise your hand. Not like this. Please raise your hand. Suyash.
Good morning, Miss. Miss,
Yes.
Miss, you are not audible.
For others, am I audible? That means there is some
Miss, now audible.
maybe in
Miss, now audible.
between at some point there is network issue at your point. That is why you are not able to hear me. Okay.
Okay, Miss.
Aradhimani Tripathi.
Yes, ma'am. I'm saying that, ma'am, the stem of aquatic plant is hollow, then it is floating. Ma'am, when it is not hollow, then it will not float.
Chances are less. No, if it is not hollow, definitely the weight will be more. And if something more weighted is put in water, what happens to it? It sinks down. Isn't it? That is why there is a special modification in these plants. Why these plants are able to be in water? Because of these modifications which are present, the special features, the special characters which are present in these plants, which is helping them to survive in their particular habitat. Okay?
Yes, ma'am.
Divyansh.
Good morning, ma'am. Ma'am, I want to ask that, Miss, in floating plant, Miss, in next chapter you have told that plants get their food, prepare their food, Miss, by the root only, no? Miss, minerals and all that, water. Sorry, ma'am, Miss, from root they...
Plants never make their food by roots. It is the leaves which is preparing the food.
Yes, ma'am. And Miss, I want to ask that Miss, in lotus plant, emerge plant, Miss, how Miss we can grow lotus, Miss human beings.
How you can grow lotus plant?
Miss, their pollination will be there because lotus is attracting. And Miss,
see, for you to grow a lotus plant, you need to bring a lotus plant and then you need to put it in a big
Pond.
tank or maybe something like that. You have to
Yes,
make it, you have to put water, then you will put in the plant and that will grow. And after that, further
Yes, ma'am.
pollination and everything is possible.
Okay, ma'am. Okay, ma'am.
Pragya. Always Pragya is only asking question. What about you, Prakhar? You don't have any question to ask? No, you have understood everything. Okay, Pragya.
Miss, I have to ask, Miss, in the pond or river, Miss, the plants are growing, then Miss, leaves are also there, and Miss, some frogs are going on it. Miss, how the leaf can balance their weight?
On the leaves, the frog is present. It may
Yes,
be the smaller one can be because it has very light, because it is very light. But the bigger ones, I don't think that the leaf will bear the weight. Okay, the frog will slip into water. Pragyan Deep.
Good morning, ma'am.
Good morning.
Ma'am, in some ponds where water is stagnant, their aquatic plants don't grow.
They grow, but there are different varieties. It's not that for one plant there is only one species. There are a number of species. Okay, and different species also have different characteristics, different adaptations, so that they can survive in their habitat.
Okay.
Yes, Suvika.
Good morning, Miss.
Good morning.
Miss, money plants.
I think right now we are talking about aquatic plants. Money plant is not an aquatic plant. Okay, so when we will discuss about that topic, then we'll come to it. Okay. Nilesh.
Good morning, ma'am.
Morning.
Miss, floating plant lotus can grow on soil while miss on water only it is growing.
Because it has the special character, it has the modification. The plant has that special characteristic that it will survive only in that habitat. It will not be possible for lotus plant to grow in the soil without water.
Okay.
Okay. Vaishnavi.
Miss,
Yes.
the lotus plant is joined with into the soil.
Yes, the root is fixed in the soil. The stem is very long so that the plant can emerge out of water.
Okay, Miss. Thank
That
you,
is
ma'am.
why we call it emerging plant. Okay.
Yes, Miss.
Nitya Patel. You're not audible, Nitya. I cannot hear you. You have unmuted yourself, but still you are not audible. Maybe some network issue. Yes, the next one, Vandita.
Miss, fish can survive in daldal.
Pardon?
Miss, fish can survive in daldal.
Fishes?
Yes.
No. Because in marshy land, all over, it is not only water, but soil is also present throughout. So how will the fishes move? It has to move freely, no? It has to get everything. So in the marshy land, it will not be able to get all the things.
Thank you.
Aradhya Singh.
Good morning, ma'am.
Good morning.
Miss, I was having two questions. My first question is that coral reefs are plants or it is a type of an organism?
Coral?
Coral reef.
Coral reef.
Yes, ma'am.
We have not discussed anything of this sort right now.
Miss, I have seen in Discovery.
Okay, you have seen in Discovery. Okay, I'll also find out in the Discovery and I'll tell you in the next class. All right?
Okay, miss.
Another question? Please ask questions related to the topic which we have discussed today. Okay, so that I can clear your doubts regarding what we have discussed. Yes, Suyash. What is your doubt?
Good morning, miss.
Good morning.
Miss, I have two doubts.
Yes.
Miss, during hibernation, that animals sleep for a longer time, then they wake up for food and water or not, miss?
If they are going for longer sleep, definitely they are not getting up to eat food. No, who will prepare the food? They cannot move out
Miss,
in search of food.
Miss, then also they can survive.
They store the food contained in their body. Okay, this is your homework for today. Please find out those animals which hibernate. How do they survive? Without food for longer time, without food and water. Okay, is it that Ayush Maurya is going to answer to this question? Okay, Ayush is going to answer to your question, Suyash. So wait for some time. Yes.
Miss, animals like bear, they go for hibernation. Miss, before they go for hibernation, they eat, they store food and they eat before hibernation. They eat full, miss, for a month they eat, so that's why they can't, they don't feel
Is
hungry.
it that they store the food outside, means the place where they are living, they keep it there, or is it that keep it or store it inside their body?
Miss, in body. Miss, they eat all of that,
Okay,
and
well,
then
this is a homework for
hibernation.
everyone. It's a good answer from Ayush Maurya. Just everybody clap for Ayush Maurya. A round of applause for Ayush Maurya. He has answered the question. Very good, Ayush. But still, I'm giving this homework to everyone. It's enough now. Okay. So it's a homework for every one of you. Still, somebody is clapping. Okay. So it's a homework for everyone that what actually happens or what these animals do when they go for hibernation. You have understood what is hibernation. The animals, they go for long sleep. Okay? कई महीनों तक ये सोते हैं. You also want like that? Will it be possible for you to survive? No, as soon as you will smell something like Maggie, you will get up. Isn't it? But well, jokes apart, we are talking about some animals in very cold regions where the temperature sometimes is very low. So at that point of time, it becomes very difficult for these animals to go in search of food. Okay, either they search for food or due to cold they may die. So better option is go for a long sleep. Okay, so you are going to find out what exactly is done during hibernation and what all things they do before they go for hibernation. Okay, so with this I end up today's session. Hope I have cleared all your doubts. God bless you all.